All right, and welcome to 6-2.5 Mixed Practice. Now, in problem number 6, we have hexagon HIJKLM, and we are told it is not regular and has been dilated to become the hexagon on the right. Okay, so let's go ahead and label the things we're given. It says if K prime J prime is Y, so let's see, K prime J prime is Y, and M prime H prime is 4x, what is the value of x? Well, the first thing I want you to notice, if we're looking for the value of x, we don't care about y. All right, so clearly the important information is down here at the bottom of the hexagon. Now, the other thing we know is that whenever we have similar figures, so if y'all see the word dilated, just understand that that is going to mean similar, all right? It means that there must be a scale factor. So how are we going to find our scale factor? Well, we're going to say, okay, what two sides do we know numbers for? So we could say this, we could say L prime M prime divided by LM, or aka 12 divided by 4 will give us a scale factor of 3. What does that really mean? Well, it means if we take a look here at MH and M prime H prime, it's not completely accurate to say that MH is equal to M prime H prime. Why? Because there's a scale factor of 3. We need to multiply the length of MH by 3 to actually set it equal to M prime H prime. So, in the very last step that I'll go over with you, we could say that 3 times MH, which is 8, must be equal to M prime H prime, or 4x. And now I will leave you to solve for x. Good luck. Okay, for problem number 7, it says given the regular polygon below, find the value of x. Well, notice here we have a hexagon, and our formula for the total number of interior angles will always be n minus 2 times 180. Well, here we know that the hexagon has 6 sides, minus 2 times 180. N minus 2 will, of course, will be 4 times 180, which is, of course, 720. Now, if we want to know how large one particular angle is for a regular hexagon, remember, or a regular polygon, we simply divide that number by the number of sides. And we know that a hexagon has 6. So, what is 120 divided by, what is 720 divided by 6? Well, it's 120. I kind of gave it away. So, what are we going to do with this information? Well, that's telling us that, hey, that angle is 120 degrees. That angle is 120 degrees. Remember, this thing is regular. That's 120 degrees. And not only is that, well, that angle is 120 degrees as well. So we're going to say 3 parentheses 5x plus 12 is equal to 120. And I leave y'all to solve for x. Okay, for problem 8, it says find the measure of the exterior angle of a regular heptagon. So what do we know? We know that all exterior angles add up to 360 degrees for every, and I cannot stress this enough, for every polygon. So we can say 360 divided by, and a regular heptagon has 7 sides. 360 divided by 7 will give you your final answer. Let's move on. Okay, number 9 says find the length of IJ. So let's go ahead and put an X there. When given angle JHI, let's see, so J to H to I, so that angle right there is 28 degrees. And IH is, IH is 8.7. Okay, now let's go ahead and start doing our labeling. One thing that we should have been given, that we'll just go ahead and assume, is that this is a right triangle, and of course that points to the hypotenuse. Now, if that points to the hypotenuse and I circle this angle, I would know that to my relevant angle, this is the adjacent side, which means that this is the opposite side. Well, clearly the hypotenuse is our useless piece of information because it has no good information, and so we're looking for which trig function uses the adjacent and the opposite. In this case, our function will be tangent theta is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. Now let's go ahead and fill in everything. So we know we have our tangent of 28 degrees is equal to the the opposite, x, over 8.7. And the last thing that I'll leave you with, on these, you always multiply by what's on the bottom of the fraction first. So for here, we will first multiply by 8.7, and we'll multiply by 8.7. And so all you have to do is literally type into the Desmos scientific calculator 8.7 times the tangent of 28, and that will give you x. All right, let's move on. Okay, for problem number 10, we are given the angle HIJ is going to be 4x. We are given the angle KHI, so let's see, KHI is going to be 122 degrees. We're given that, let's see, angle JKH is going to be 5x plus 14. And lastly, we're given this angle down here in the bottom will be 12x plus 16. Now, what you want to do is you want to find out what is the total number of angles. Now, most of y'all should know this. What's the number of angles in a quadrilateral? If you know that off the top of your head, you're doing quite well for yourself. However, if you don't remember, here's our formula. We know that n, the number of sides, is 4, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, times 180. And of course, 4 minus 2 is 2 times 180, which is 360. Okay, so what are we really going to say here? We're going to say if we add up all of these angles, if we say 4x plus 122 plus 5x plus 14 plus, and then I'll just kind of bring that down there, 12x plus 16, all of those should add up to be 360. And I will let y'all solve for x. Now remember, whenever you solve for x, whatever that equals, you're then going to have to plug it back into Hij, which is 4x. So 4x, you must plug that back in to solve the problem. All right, good luck.